So, good evening, all of you. I think Harshal has already introduced myself. So in today's session, we are majorly focusing with respect to some advanced talk, towards BIM management, digital twin, and the implementation, and the standard, of course, ISO 19650. So let's start. Okay, so let's move on to the agenda topics. So, what are the data you people are seeing on the screen? Basically, we will discuss all those points one by one. So, what about the introduction of the beam and the construction challenges and the based on the challenges, what solution specifically BIM offers on those challenges and how basically we overcome from those challenges. Then let's talk about what exactly the ISO 19650 it is, because still in India or globally people are not aware about the standards. Means the first step, they are not aware about the standard itself, and if they're aware about it, they are not aware how to use in their BIM projects. Then talk we'll discuss about the information management cycle, how the information is moving during this BIM implementation phase, the execution phase, and during the entire BIM platform basically. Then the most important topic or the platform, basically common data environment, the what exactly the benefit BIM users or the stakeholders and the management people will get by implementing a CDE in their specific project. Then let's talk about LOD concept. I hope you people are aware about this LOD, or might be few terminologies, whatever I have mentioned in the presentation, like BEP and all. So you might aware about it, but in today's session we are majorly focusing to go much more in the details. Okay, so because at the moment, if you see, everybody knows what exactly the BIM it is, and I hope you people join the session means you're aware about the BIM. You might working as a BIM modeler or the BIM coordinator somewhere, maybe in your company. But the challenges or the advanced concept, what industry needs in future. Okay, because we are at 2025 at the moment. Okay, but if we see the target picture of May, let's say 2030 or in upcoming years, so the India is completely transforming digitally. Okay, if you see in any sector, doesn't matter the your infrastructure industry, the construction industry, automobile, then pharmaceutical, then oil and gas, everybody people trying to integrate somehow how I can shift my traditional process to the digitally. Okay, so when the people saying, we need to shift digitally, then we are thinking how, as a AC industry or the BIM professionals, or we might say because civil engineer, mechanical engineers, how we are supporting those industry to help or to achieve those target effectively by implementing this BIM. And for implementing BIM or for learning this advanced concept, so we should understand what globally happening with respect to the new trends, challenges, and the majorly what topics basically we need it. Okay, then based on that, we'll also discuss about the BIM coordination activity. Let's say the power of integrations, how coordinations will help the site people or the the stakeholders, and how that bridge the gap we can fill by implementing this coordination activity. And then let's talk about the COBie data, what exactly it is. Okay, so we'll discuss again in that detail. And then we have this BP. I hope and then we'll talk about the integration of BIM and Power BI, like how this Power BI will helpful for the BIM professionals for multiple tasks, not only for the data visualizations, but it can be integrated for the multiple activity that involves into the management front, that it involves with respect to the real-time monitoring approach, and again the most important with respect to the dashboards. Then we have information exchange, handover, and as built, how it will be helpful and what exactly needs to be performed basically, right? And about the digital twin. Okay, so this is about the BIM. I'm not going again much more in the detail what exactly BIM it is. Everybody knows if you join this advanced session. So for learning the BIM, the most trustful, like what exactly this needs to be do, and what things needs to be understand by what it means by BIM it is. So it's kind of a digital transformation process. So whenever we're talking about BIM, so it's a process, and to utilize this process, we need to take some help from the softwares like Revit software or some Navisworks software, or it maybe depends on the multiple industries, not having no restricted with the Revit or Navisworks. Okay, so that is one thing because so many people still they think if I know Revit or if I know Navisworks, so I'm ready to begin with the this BIM and I know BIM. So this is not the thing, because if you deal with multiple industries, then you should understand the process. You should understand the SOPs and understanding this some standard kind of like operabilities method, the data interoperability changes. So these things like most importantly we need to understand. Okay, so let's talk about the challenges. So what challenges basically we are facing? So if you like the small example, if I give you here the, if you compare the traditional process, what people they are following in India or in anywhere, and against the BIM solutions. So of course, the challenges we effectively face with respect to the cost, with respect to the time, the manpower, resource, skill sets, everybody like the major challenges, and to overcome from these challenges how BIM will helpful. Okay, so if you so like say the traditional process for completing one drawing, how much time it will take for updating the drawing, revisions, then sending those on to the construction sites and execution of the those drawings. So everything is like a bit tedious if you see comparatively maybe into the older process. Might be you people are communicating with the emails, or maybe over the phone might be the communication is happening, but still the communication or the loss of information is happening during that transition. So how BIM will helpful? So BIM is kind of a offer complete package where you can everything visualize it, the pre-visualize everything within the softwares. You can perform, you can actually walk inside the model before your construction begins or before your construction completed on site, and you can have a look like if my building is completed, so how I can see my the view from let's say 20th floor or the 25th floor. So this kind of a just example I'm giving. So there are so many multiple approaches or the technical terminologies that we can perform by implementing the BIM. Okay, and the most important about the transparency and the like how to avoid the loss of information. So implementation of the CDE platform is one of the crucial and one of the important method by adoption inside the BIM processes. Okay, so these are the same points what I have just now told you. Okay, so I'll just not go in detail about it. Okay, just have a look at like how beyond the project you can do the execution. So I told you like implementation of the digital twin solutions, sorry, digital platform solutions. Then the loss of values across the throughout the life cycle basically. So we can do this strategic solutions by implementing BIM management. Data can be stored on the cloud, not in the local machines. So anytime, anywhere, people can access the data. Okay, so whoever working on the project, so it doesn't require like the X person is on leave, so I cannot access the data. So this thing is you can easily avoid by implementing such solutions. Okay, and of course the if you're implementing this, the approach and the like productive approach and efficiency like will be increased drastically like compared to this your traditional approach. Now let's understand the ISO 19650. Okay, what exactly it is. So so many people are still in confusion like what exactly it is, because if we say uh, we know the standard like how to create the model inside the Revit, how to work inside the Revit, then why this standard is needed? Okay, so just tell me again, like I'll tell you one small example. Because multiple companies at the moment they are working on the this platform, okay, on BIM processes. So every company has set up their own processes and own standards, right? So when you're delivering something to the end user or towards the client, so for them, like how they will define, okay, in which format I need I will get the information, how to read the drawing, how to view the model. Okay, so for this particular purpose, in 2018, this particular revision was again redesigned and again published for like every all the BIM professionals or to know everyone with respect to the new name like ISO 19650. So previously, if you refer the same standard, it was mentioned as a PAS 1192, and in the same like template, or you can say in the document, some process was mentioned, like how to start with the project. Okay, what first steps needs to be taken care, then what is the second step. Okay, so for this, if you see at the moment, uh, it consists basically five parts under ISO 19650. But if you see the first two parts, what I have mentioned, the top line, if you read it, like must need to adopt. Okay, so if you see with respect to the India's adoption at the moment, or if you see as like overseas or the globally as well, the people needs at least first two parts. What exactly it contains? So when I'm talking about the part one, so it has like definition about the concept and the principle about information management, how you are implementing a BIM, how information is flowing from one party to another party, or what is appointing party, the lead parties, and how this information is happening around the entire project, like throughout the project life cycle. Basically, it not with respect to the design phase, or it is not respect no, without like execution phase. So throughout the project, what exactly the concept and principle that I have defined, whether I'm able to achieve those principle or not. So this basically concepts and some kind of key points that you will find under the part one. Now let's move on to the part two, with respect to the delivery phase of asset. So when you are delivering something, okay, so what data needs to be delivered? At what quality the data needs to be delivered to the client? Okay, to the end user. So there are again multiple stakeholders or the parties involved during this phase. Okay, the appointing party is the first party, then second party is the lead party, and again under the lead party, there's some kind of a contractor or the subcontractors are there. Okay, so each one has their roles and responsibilities defined under this phase of delivery phase of assets, and they need to perform say everything according to the standard given in the ISO 19650. So what happened at the end when you are combining your like models and all the data? So it should be delivered with respect to the standard process, and it should be like output will be delivered into the open file format. So the client or the stakeholder, they can easily open those things and they can have a look what exactly our like the people does the work, means how they define everything, how they work on the project, so they can easily understand basically with respect to the standard operating procedures. Now, when we say like the deeper implementation, so like let's say in any company, they already implementing BIM with respect to the part one and part two, and they want to go much more in detail, like some kind of advanced BIM management. When we say operational phase of asset, when I'm talking about operational phase of asset, is nothing but the part of facility management. It's kind of 6D and 7D. Okay, it's particularly 7D. 6D is specifically looking towards the sustainability of a building, right? And then part four, like talking about exchange of information. Now once everything is ready, how your information is exchanging from one industry to another industry. Now again, the one example I could tell you over here, let's say you have a model and you want to do some kind of a digital twin of the facility management. So our information like taken into the account by IT professionals, those who are working on like developing some kind of a digital twin solutions or the sensors data. Now, if you want to map some kind of a things or working on to the embedded system part, so basically they need our data. So when some other industry, basically like from AEC industry to the IT industry, we are sending something. So how this exchange of information happening? So for that also we have some kind of a standard protocol defined under part 4, and that has to be referred while doing the exchange of information. Lastly, we have a security minded approach. Okay, like when we are talking about the data, the security comes into the picture like as a priority part. So how this data will be completely secured on any of the cloud platform? It doesn't require like on which platform you have hosted your data, but for those data, like how your security approach like work into the entire BIM life cycle. So for those provisions and some protocol has mentioned under part 5. Okay, so this is about the overview. Now like if you want to understand in detail, we need to perform some kind of a live understanding. We do have those all the PDFs available with us. So like when you people are like joining any detailed course or the curriculum, so in that session you might like able to understand each and every part, like how to implement, how to use those principle or the topics in the real life project. So everything I will try to cover basically. Okay, then like let's move on to the like how this information management cycle works. Okay, the same thing, but like I'll how can I say you let's understand the whatever thing we discuss in ISO 19650. So this kind of a mini version for that. So basically, the information management cycle throughout the project. Okay, so we have everything defined in each phase of the project. Okay, so like information production about the refinement, then the multiple phases that we will define. The four key phases means like we do have some standard four key defines under those parts. Okay, so what all of those phases will work in the industry, and what exactly we need to define inside that. To those things, basically, we are trying to focus on the phases parts. Then the continuous and the iterative cycle, like what exactly the repetitive work that you're getting in the BIM cycle, and how you can avoid those tasks by implementing any kind of a automated script. Either you can define inside the Dynamo, or you can use any of the like Revit APIs that will be helpful for uh, no our like avoid your like long time, or we can say the your time can be saved for those tasks basically. Then timely and accurate delivery. Okay, so when we are saying implementation of BIM throughout the life cycle, so we do have the rich softwares available with us like Revit, which able to give you the proper data. Okay, with respect to the LOD 500. Okay, as built data, whatever you are constructing on site, everything can be modeled and everything can be fed inside the Revit model, and that the same data can be shared throughout the project life cycle, or even after the project life cycle, by implementing the facility management. And for that only, we need some kind of strategic planning that has to be performed with respect to the BEP, or we could say with respect to the implementation phase as well. Okay, now let's move on to the common data environment. So this is like most important part when we are working on any of a BIM project. This is kind of a like heart for the particular project, because the whatever the task that we are working specifically, so that has to be hosted on the such platforms. Okay, so common data environment platform is basically not dependent towards Autodesk, because many of the participant or the BIM professionals, they think like when we are talking about a common data environment, it means like BIM 360 or ACC. Okay, but this is not the right. Okay, the common data environment is kind of a global term, or we can say like it's a standard process where we host the data, but it has like multiple options or the multiple solutions, depends on the industry driven activity. Okay, uh, like multiple companies like Bentley, then the Trimble, Oracle, so that they're offering their all common data environment solutions, and each of these solutions has their own uniqueness. Okay, if I say why I'm using most of the time ACC. Okay, so ACC means like Autodesk Construction Cloud. So the reason behind this, the interoperability between the Autodesk tool is like familiar for those tools basically. Because let's say 90% of the people, those who are working onto the building segment, or they are working onto the commercial or the building projects basically, means the residential projects. So they need to only work with maybe the Revit software or AutoCAD, Max to Max, Navisworks, and the cloud platform. So all the tools, whatever we are using, all those belongs to the Autodesk industry. So the one benefit what we are getting, the interoperability between these tools are good. So that's the reason we are implementing the CD solutions. But why we need this CD platform? So it's work as a like kind of a single source of truth for everyone, because each and every participants or all the project stakeholders, those who are working, or those who are like part of the projects, everybody has access for this particular environment, and at any time, at anywhere, they can easily go to that particular location. They can find what the latest update, okay, happening with respect to all the disciplines. Let's say I am an architect, and I want to see what exactly the structural designer did. Okay, if he has not informed me, but he has uploaded on the cloud, so I'll go there and I'll check what exactly it is, the latest solutions. But if you see the left hand side images, okay, so there's a complete mess between all these say like sorry, all these suppliers. So one is an architect, one is a contractor, one is a MEP consultant, one is a facade designer, one is like HVAC designer. So they are not like coordinated with each other by any of the platform. So either they are coordinating with email, because architect never deals with HVAC, because he just needs to deal with structure and facade. So he's not understanding what exactly this MEP person do, and what exactly the new updates received from him. So this is a complete mess, and with respect to this mess, people are facing big like major challenges. Some kind of a rework on happening on site. The time is taken like bit higher compared to this regular process. So that's the reason if you are implementing kind of a common data environment, so everybody is linked with that centralized platform and they will easily access the data. So this is the good benefit by implementing a CD. Okay. So all the points, whatever I have just told you, so which will be here available. Okay. Now let's understand this LOD concept. Okay. Now like everybody knows what exactly this LOD it means. So I'll again just tell you. So LOD is a concept of level of development when we are like developing the model. Okay. So people needs to be think with respect to at what level I need to design my model or the detail my model basically. So it refers usually two terms. One is level of development and one is level of detail. Okay. So difference between this level of development, it's focus towards the data, and level of detail is focused towards the geometry and the precision what you are modeling. Okay, so the both the aspects are bit similar, but it has some slight variations and slight importance for each of these both terminologies. So we do have this six basically LOD concept. We have pre-design, then schematic design, design development, construction documentation, construction stage, and the as-built. Okay, so we do refer max to max at the moment at in India specifically LOD 350 to 400. For very few projects, we try to achieve as-built model because it consists so many the data, so many changes happening on site, and usually it takes time because the as-built model usually updates like at the last of the project because you need to be on board with that particular client throughout the process. Once they hand over the model, once the particular building is in operational phase, then only we will submit the as-built model. Okay, 90% of the scenarios. If you submit earlier also, and if there are some changes later on implemented on site, those changes needs to be in according to the model into the later phase of process. Okay. Now, most important again, the coordination approach. Now, like everybody, with the those who joins this session, like everybody is working on any of the task, or any of the, maybe few people are working on BIM modeler or BIM technician, engineer, or coordinator. Okay, multiple roles are there. Okay, but why this coordination is so important, and why would say like this is a like power of integration? Because this is the role, or this is the terminology, or this is the kind of process what exactly we are doing inside BIM coordination is very crucial when we are coordinating with each and every participants of the project. Because in this stage, everybody on board or everybody participate in one meeting, and generally we call for that meeting is like BIM coordination meeting or the coordination update meeting, whatever we generally call it. Depends on like region to region. But those who are working on those activities, so they needs to coordinate with each and every people to understand the issues, pain point, there's the challenges what they're facing, and they need to answer them. Okay, and this is the approach where we are doing the data integration. Okay, maybe a few people are just think, okay, BIM coordination is not about like only about no just doing this clash test and sharing the clash reports and that's it. This is not about this BIM coordination. Okay, if you are doing or performing the BIM coordination activity, then you need to understand what exactly the issue it is. When we call like when we need to understand what exactly the hard clash it is, what is the like proper solution, or what exactly the solution needs to be offered by any of the like consultants. Okay, so these things basically you need to lead, you need to understand, and you need to think because we people as when we are working as a BIM coordinator, we should understand we are not only coordinating the model. We need to think as a planner's point of view what like he or she has planned in the model. Okay, what exactly the benefit you are getting if she reroute something, or like maybe let's assume the structural member or the MEPF pipe is having a clash in the model. Okay, so like then you need to answer, or you need to define the solutions, like who is the responsible for that issue, how that particular issue has been resolved in the model. okay, how much time it will take, how to track the issues, okay, the deadline for that issue, everything you need to manage throughout the entire BIM coordination meeting and into the multiple meetings. Because if you found any issue maybe in today's meeting, so you need to give some buffer time to the stakeholders or to the vendors to update those issues basically. Okay, and they will work, and again they will publish their model on the cloud itself. So let's say like I have updated the model. Then now again your duty whether they have updated the model as per our standard or not. Okay. So all those things basically is a part of BIM coordination activity. By running this clash check is not a BIM coordinator task. So you need to understand the like process of integration, how the particular coordination is aligning with various model. Okay, we do have architecture model separately, structural model separately, everything. Okay, so we need to align everything like how we are understanding about the BIM coordination approach. Okay. Now let's understand the COBie. What exactly the COBie data it is. So I would say COBie, like the of course full form. If you see the construction operation building information exchange. Okay. So for all this, the first initial letter they have taken into the account and they form the word COBie. Okay. So the COBie basically we would say like the foundation of our asset lifecycle management. Why? Because the COBie data we are only performing in the commercial buildings. We you can never see like we are performing COBie in the residential segment. Never. Why? Because it does not deal with any of the assets or multiple assets. Inside the site, and we need to track every asset for the operational phase. So not required basically. Okay. So what it require usually when we are designing the commercial spaces, it may be include hospital, healthcare projects, some kind of stadiums, office spaces, restaurants, or more shopping complex, malls. Okay, so such kind of a projects basically we need a COBIES. Now, why we need a COBie? And if you say the traditional approach, the older facility management, how the older process it works basically. Okay, now this COBie basically it's again an important parameter when we are doing the facility management. Okay, the part of operational phase of asset. So we need to understand whatever the asset what we are putting inside the building or installing on site needs to be tracked somewhere, and it should give you the real time updates, okay, from site. Okay, let's for example I have one building and I have installed multiple CCTV cameras over there, smoke detector, then some kind of AHUs and multiple like chillers, everything like all equipment basically. Now I want to track each of those assets inside my BIM model. So how to do that? So for like tracking the data or tracking the real time updates from those sorry from those devices or from those equipment basically, so we need to perform the COBie data. Now how the COBie data will helpful in this phase? So COBie data is nothing but the data we received from the BIM models. It consists all the information related to the particular asset. Okay. Now again the example if I tell you, let's assume I have one CCTV camera I put inside the BIM model. Now I will ask all the details for the particular camera, like from where you bought, from which company, which date, okay, what is the maintenance date for the particular things, okay, what is this unique number, okay, what is the resolutions, what is the site lanes, everything is with respect to each device. We do have like more than 100 parameters or 100 fields inside the COBie data. Okay, usually it has some architectural and structural specifics as well, like in which zone, in which floor, in which room the particular camera is assigned. Okay, who is responsible for that particular camera? Because we do have some zones available. If you have larger buildings, so maybe the zone part one is for X person is responsible, part two is for Y person is responsible. So when you are running the COBie data inside the BIM models, you need to feed entire thing to the that particular element, and that element is linked with the IoT sensors basically. Now here the IT engineers or the IT industry comes into the picture, and they will help BIM professionals to link that data to with respect to IoT sensor, and it has been mapped on site, and then you will get a real-time update. So let's run once everything is done, and happen any hazardous situation happen on site. So the person who sits in India and the particular project is in like out of India or anywhere. So he or she will get instantly the email or the like kind of notification, like the particular device has some problem or it is not working at the moment. So instantly the particular person will go to the model, he will open the model, he will check which device is not working. If he click on the device, he will go get all the information, when it was purchased, from whom you purchased, okay, what is the maintenance date, what is the due date for this, whether it has maintained like since last 3 4 days or not, okay. So this information is easily get within the click, and he will respond the issue to the particular higher management authorities, and it will be resolved within a day or within a few hours. But now if you like compare again the traditional process, so once you install the camera, you don't have any data. You like never knows like from whom we purchase. Like after 5 years, anything like you will forward everything. Okay, we don't not track anything like from which company we bought, what is the maintenance rate. Okay, whether it is under the validity or not. So this data we are not able to track. But if we are implementing in BIM, so yes, it's possible, and you can easily manage the entire life cycle for asset. Now, on left hand side screen, you will have all the 7 steps, like how we are implementing COBie. So I'm not going in that detail again, like what exactly it is, how. Okay, but still you can just go and have a look. Like, and if you have any confusion, you can just type your question inside the chat box. Okay, now let's talk about the BEP, this project digital DNA, we could say. So basically, this is a document we usually refers for before starting any BIM project, because this is a very crucial document. All the parties and the stakeholders and everybody basically involved into the project refer this document before starting the projects. It contains all the strategy, how to start working on the project, which software needs to be used, which team is working on which project, the timeline, the milestone, the coordination meeting activity timeline, then the issue tracking basically, and the multiple things, like everybody like each and every phase basically we are implementing inside the BIM project is involved in the BIM execution plan. So now understanding the BEP in much more in detail, so needs or which will give you more clarity about the project, because always what happened, most of the BIM professionals, or like I have seen like so far, like multiple companies. So what they are doing, like if they assign some tasks to you specifically, so you will get only a small task. Let's say this is the entire project, and you need to work on, let's say, only on a 5 floor, or only fifth floor with respect to only one service. So can you unmute it yourself?
Okay, you can continue.
Yeah. So then we need to understand like what exactly we need to work. So I'm always giving the suggestions to everyone, because when someone has assigned one specific task to you, so you should understand before that task coming to you whether someone has worked on that particular task or not. If yes, what exactly he or she did in that task. And once you complete your task and you are forwarding that particular task to like the next person or to your manager, then you should also understand, let's just try to understand what exactly happening once I hand over. So when you just try to like map those things now, like what exactly the previously done, then I think like you need to like you I would say get more clarity about the project, means how the project is going on throughout the life cycle. Okay, at which phase what exactly things are happening, maybe during the initiation phase, during the planning phase, during execution, during control, and during the closure. So basically to achieve this all 5 steps or all 5 life cycle is more crucial and more important by following the BEP. Now let's talk about this BIM and Power BI. So Of course, you might aware about this Power BI tool, like how it will be helpful for BIM industry and BIM professionals. Okay, basically, most of the data what we are getting from the Revit models, which is like Excel based. If you take out some quantities from the Revit model, so this is completely Excel based, or the clash reports also you're like calculating. Or if I want to do some kind of a like simulations, okay, if you see this video, okay, if you like want to do some kind of simulation or understanding this room temperature condition inside any of the room, okay, for this Power BI, which will be helpful for visualizing the dashboard. Okay, now I'm not saying with respect to only the data, but with respect to analyze few things in the Revit model, and it has been showcased in the Power BI dashboard. Okay, so let's say you have multiple datas because in the Excel, and you want to showcase in this a good bar chart or the pie chart, so you can easily transform the data, because the third person when looks into the project, okay, he or she easily get understanding about what exactly happening in the project. By looking into the Excel, it may take more time by reading those data, each and every column, understanding the figures. But if you put everything is here, or if you put even the clash reports and clash tracking over here, it is like very streamlined and efficient workflow for everybody. Means the worker, the person who is working, and the person who is like looking into the project. So which will be helpful with respect to multiple point. Or if you can have a look into the right hand side, like how it will be improve the communication and the reporting. Of course, reporting, it means showing something to the reporting managers or to the management fronts. Okay, like defining the key project matrix. Okay, the project can be defined separately as a separate dashboard, and if I switch to the project, I will easily get all the highlight points or all the key points about any of a BIM project. Okay, so it should be having the actionable insights, the multiple uh, advanced features available with respect to BIM. And if you do have some add-ins available inside the Power BI, it is also which will help you to provide you good insight with respect to the BIM data, which will be again helpful for the real-time project performance. Okay, which will give the example again what I showcased you in the video. The real-time data can be tracked and it can be visualized in the Power BI software. Okay, enhance the project transparency. Again, CD, kind of a CDE platform itself. The people, those who want to have a look with respect to only the project management activity. So if they have access for this particular tool or the software, so whatever the data we are uploading or we are linking from our BIM model, it will be visible over here, and they can easily access the data and they can check about the project. Sorry, about the project status. And finally, the same point what we are discussing about the visualizations and analysis. Now, most important again with respect to the information exchange, handover and as built. Okay, so like how the information is actually happening. So this is just an overview. Don't think like means what is the importance for this key points and this image. Okay, so basically it has just we are trying to showcase you during each of the stage how this information exchange handover will helpful for the as built model. Okay, so if you see this diagram or this image, so the bottom point what I have mentioned, like CAFM, means computer aided facility management. Okay, so whenever we are performing something with respect to the COBie data, the same data needs to be linked to the any of the facility management software, and we have to understand about the tracking, the performance of the each and every equipment, and the same data sets needs to be installed on the sites, and then the real time tracking will be happening. Okay. So this approach is like very crucial. It contains multiple documents. Also, one more additional points over here, like how BIM will be helpful with respect to the ROI, the return of investment. Because if you say that any company invest and they're trying to implement a BIM in house, okay, whether they will get ROI. Okay, again a question mark. Okay, I'm asking you people. So we need to understand how ROI will means whether it is first question is like whether you will get or not. If yes, why? Not why. Okay, so we need to understand. We need to do those like kind of a POCs for the each and every project, understand in detail, and for that you need to read everything in detail and implementing respect to strong BIM knowledge. Okay. So again, like the COBie will work as a mechanism over here, which will helpful to understand your as plan and as built model. Okay, actually with respect to maybe the 4D simulation with respect to 5D part for understanding the cost front. With respect to sustainability front, you need to work on the 6D part, and of course COBie, it means the 7D of facility management. The construction changes incorporation. Okay, it means that as built only once your construction changes are happening, how you are incorporating inside the model on site. So this is also we need to understand and work. So regular model updates. So as I told you, if you are performing something like with respect to the as built changes, so whatever things you are installing on site or whatever things that you are additionally adding on sites. Okay, it may be the like ladders or it may be the small devices also. So those also needs to be updated inside the model to track and to get the real time data. Okay. So it has a clear responsibilities with respect to the job roles and the designations what we have designed to each and every participants. They needs to be followed. We should also understand the as-built model value with respect to the handover and as-built model front, and this model which refers for the digital foundation means whatever or the whenever we're implementing the digital twin task, so this model needs to be taken into the consideration for as a foundation model because the same model we are considering for the analysis purpose, for the future analysis purpose. And the information flows what you have seen in the picture. Now let's talk about this digital twin. What is a digital twin? Okay, so in simple words I'll tell you it's a virtual replica of your physical asset. Okay, that's it. This is means the digital twin. But what exactly it is, why we are performing digital twin? Okay, so the importance of digital twin, whatever the building you have constructed on site, how the building will perform in future. If I want to predict that analysis, in that scenario, I will utilize this digital twin tool. I will feed some data. I will give some inputs, and I will analyze the result. Okay, maybe at various conditions. If temperature go high or temperature rise, whether my building will sustain. What will be the room temperature inside all the rooms available in the building? Okay, how my daylight analysis will work. Okay, the wall window ratios, multiple points are there. Okay, I'm just talking about the building aspects. If you go in detail with respect to this infra or the what you can say, one more point I forgot with respect to infra and with respect to this an analysis part basically. Means instead of building, if you take another product, okay, let's assume a car, suppose. Okay, so when you are manufacturing any car, so how the car will perform on road once the product has been launched, so even that you can also predict with respect to digital twin. Now what you need to define over here, so if you have a model with you, you need to define if I'm putting uh, x type of the brake system in my car, and then I'll just run the result. So it will give me this brake system is not good, which only supports 70 or 80% of the Indian road conditions. Then what I will do, I'll again put some different brake system. Let's say I'm putting the Y brake system over there. Again, I'll perform this run analysis, and it show me okay, this brake system no like supports 100% or 95% to the Indian road condition. Now this is the analysis I did, and now I implement the same solution to my car. And once this solution has been approved, then I will launch my entire product. Because if I put X only, and after like producing multiple models or multiple cars, and then I launch, then it is completely waste of money for me because I have not checked the actual conditions. Okay, so this is just an example I'm telling you. But when we are saying digital twin with respect to the BIM point of view, or as a mechanical or so, means mostly civil engineers point of view or architects engineers point of view, it is only deals with the building data. Okay, there are so many companies nowadays in automobile segment also they are trying to implement digital twin, but it is only for the car model or the factory data as well. Okay, so I hope you understand about this digital twin. So I'm not going again much more in detail. Okay, so like all the key points again available at the bottom side. You can have a look. So the last slide for today's session, like the conclusion, the future is integrated and data driven. Okay, so of course, when we are looking towards industry 4.0. Already we are implementing it, but when we say the smart factory, smart, this digital revolution, digital transformation, so then we need to think the future is integrated and data driven with completely AI and ML. Okay, so we should understand when we are this all points just belongs to the BIM point of view or from BIM background itself. The data driven integrated approach is very important. Okay, ISO 19650 guidance needs to be implemented for each and every project is again more important for delivering quality results and standard data types. Then leveraging the information power. Okay, so what are the information we are generating? So we should not the data should be used effectively and consistently for multiple uses. Okay, it may be the digital twin, it may be the facility management, it may be for some other approach, multiple things. Okay, the commitment to continuous improvement. So of course, this is like key points only. Just I'm suggesting the strategic BIM management. You should have a strategic planning, strategic key map, roadmap defined for managing the BIM data. Okay, your model or the building should be sustainable and optimized project. It should be having the zero carbon footprint. The just try to give the solution like net zero. Means we are not like utilizing any carbon footprint. So whatever we are making, it should be the sustainable and it should be based on the like environmental aspect. Okay, emerging the digital twin, like as I told you, this about the completely digital twin is like more curious about the future innovations or the future technologies, because it may happen digital twin can be transformed into the multiple models later on, because it has multiple types. If you I don't know whether you by any chance you have look what exactly the digital twin and its types. If you search on Google, multiple types is available under digital twin. So we need to understand for each and every segment or each and every industry, these platforms are different. And finally, AI and machine learning integration. So the same, the headline itself defines about the future is integrated and data driven. So of course, based on AI and ML. Okay, so these are all of the like key points that we have take out from this entire session as a conclusion. And I hope on based on all these 8 points, basically we are trying to give everybody to like standard knowledge about how BIM can be implemented effectively with respect to the standard BIM management approach, with respect to all the key points and all the key factors depending into the multiple industry like automobile, then this oil and gas sector, this pharma, healthcare, then this AC industry, the construction one, and again the multiple. Okay. So thank you so much for joining the sessions. If you have any queries or questions, you please chat in the type box. So the concerned person will read the questions and I'll try to answer.